need the church couple. That's OD.
Alright. Let's pray. Oh, actually, do you want to get to the page first? It's Colossians 4:13. 4:2.
Okay, hold on. What?
4. Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah,
We start there.
for what?
4:2.
Okay.
We start from there. Alright, that's right. Lord, I hope that you'll be able to make my teaching to be able to reach out to these two people, and hope that you'll be able to let them understand it. And today, when we go do our busy work, like me and Steven go to the beach, and Brian working on something else, I hope that you can make it so we can have fun today. Use and pray.
I was on practice.
Alright, so I forgot to do the background. I just realized I forgot to do the background for like the what's it called? Like what happened before, and I forgot to do that. But don't worry, this doesn't need any of that because this is a complete transition from what Steven was teaching last time. Steven was teaching about relations and how you should act between them. This, nothing to do with relations. Well, yeah, not really anything to do with relations. So, from verses 2 to 4, it says, devote yourselves to prayer, being watchful and thankful. And, well, we'll just focus on verse 2 for now. And do you guys know what it means to devote yourself to something? I mean, I'm pretty sure you should know, so you should know too. So, come on, guys, answer.
You devote yourself.
You can't use the word to define the word.
You can.
You actively give your life to it.
That's pretty good. How about you?
Devote, you put time into it.
Ooh, all pretty good. See, the Google definition says that it is to give all or a large part of one's time or resources to something. And you guys are right, it's time this time. In this context, we're talking about giving one's time to prayer. So when you give your time to something, for like example sports, you don't just spend one day practicing and then never practice again, or practice irregularly whenever you feel like it. When you hear someone's devoting the time to sport, you imagine that the person is constantly practicing. Well, so that's what Paul is saying right here. He's urging us to constantly pray daily. Then he tells us to be watchful and thankful while doing our prayers. Watchful here is meant to tell us that while we're supposed to be doing continued prayer, it shouldn't be just done half-butted. You know what I mean? It should be done like with some effort to do it properly and to perform it with sincerity, faith, and fear. So the Jews have this thing called the intention of prayer and the intention of the heart, which says that if the prayer has no intention, then it's not a prayer. It might as well not be a prayer because there's no effort. And so that's what watchful is. For thankful, it means what you think. It means expressing gratitude. You guys understand so far?
Yes. Hold on, let me just make this.
Okay, so right after he tells them to keep praying, he goes straight to using them. He's like, I told you to keep praying, now pray for me. Boom. So he's like, alright, and pray for us too. That God may open a door for our message so that we may proclaim the mystery of Christ for which I am in chains. Here he asks them to pray that God may open a door so they can preach the message. And if you remember, Paul is in prison right now, so you might think he's asking God to free him from his cell so he can keep preaching. Like back in Acts where he was able to slip through the jail guard. But no, it's not. It's like 1 Corinthians 16:9, which says, because a great door for effective work has opened to me, and there are many who oppose me. And 2 Corinthians 2:12, where it says, now when I went to Troas to preach the gospel of Christ, I found that the Lord had opened a door for me. So he's using the opening of a door to mean that an opportunity for him to get the word across to people has come, or that people with hearts willing to listen about the gospel shows up before him. So here, it's very simple. It's like what I just said before. He's just asking to be prayed that they would pray that God gives them an opportunity to preach, hoping that people will be willing to come to him and willing to learn. Then he talks about this mystery. And for mystery, Google defines it as something that is difficult or impossible to understand or explain. So as an example, the people of Colossae, they were very confused. They're mixing Jews and Gentile beliefs to form a religion that's not like Christianity. So they're confused, which means that it's difficult to understand. So the mystery is who, what, where, when, why, and why Christ. Explain what Christianity is and what happened with Christ and everything. So since these people don't know what it is, that's why people like Paul want to be given opportunity to talk about this mystery. The rest of the verse is a reminder that he is willing to suffer for all this. When he says, for which I am in chains, he's just reminding them that I'm doing all this, I'm suffering while doing all this, and I'm doing, and he's not saying that he's not trying to say, oh, look at me, I'm suffering for all this, I should be rewarded for something. He's just reminding them that he's doing this out of his own self. Then it says that in verse 5 or 4, pray that I may proclaim it clearly as I should. Another prayer that Paul asks for is the clearness of his preaching. He doesn't want there to be any confusion, so when he says something, he doesn't want it to be ambiguous or stuff like that, because he wants to deliver the truth and doesn't want something like that. It's like something will happen in Colossians that happened elsewhere, because they were very confused here. And again, I guess he's showing humbleness, where he's showing that he can't do it himself, that he needs God's help, so he's asking that God would help him with his words. And in verse 5, it says, be wise in the way you act towards outsider, make the most of every opportunity. Paul uses outsiders to refer to everyone who is not considered a believer of Jesus, like how the Greeks called everyone who did not speak Greek or live in a Greek town barbarians. And he asks us to be wise when we interact with non-Christians and to not to try to waste any opportunity. What he means is, this doesn't mean that you have to try to convert every Christian, non-Christian that you come across, but it could just be just making the most of your time. So it's as simple as acting how a Christian should, so that the world may see what it means to be a true Christian. As an example. And to be wise, he actually just means be wise. Don't do something stupid. If you think it's stupid, don't do it. And verse 6, it says, let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. So grace here doesn't mean the unmerited love or unconditional love that it usually means, but to converse with truth, sincerity, and without lying. And their manner of speech should not be crude or foolish, but elegant. Don't say curse words. Don't be like, your mama so fat. Stuff like that. That's kind of crude talk. Instead, talk how would you say this? Nicely, say it nicely. Say it with say it so that you entrance people. And when he hopes for the conversation to be seasoned with salt, he can mean two things: just one of it or both of it. If it's both of it, he's pretty good at this. This thing. One, he hopes that their word will be able to be preserved, so that it could be timeless. So if in 1,000 years, what they say to someone, if they live for 1,000 years, they could be it still stands true today. So they don't say something where it could be debunked after when some kind of science experiment. It's no, this wrong, this statement wrong. And we can assume that the topic of the conversation is about Christ when he says conversation, based on the previous verses.
Mm-hmm.
So Christianity or Christ is the dish. It's the very it's like meat. It's it's tasty, right? But if you add salt with it, boom, it's even tastier. So what he's saying is, salt is known to make food delicious, right? Or make it better. So Paul is hoping that we can make Christianity sound even more agreeable, so that more people would want it. If you had a really bland meat and you ate it, it's I don't want to eat any more of it. But then yeah, it's all boom. Oh my gosh! Like I gotta keep eating this, you know.
Okay.
Wait. What if you add too much? What if you add too much salt though?
Ah, yes. There could be a problem there because that like overwhelmed them. But it's okay. It's just seasonal, so I'm not like over seasoned. Don't worry. And he also what is it? He also wishes that we do this with every.
It died. The computer died.
Alright. He also wishes that if you remember here, it says that so that you may know how to answer everyone. He wants us to be able to answer like all age groups in every circumstance and everything like that. So like when you're talking to a child, you're not gonna be preaching the gospel like how you preach to an adult. You're gonna be like, Jesus is like you gotta like not dumb it down, but make it so that the child can understand in what their limited knowledge is. Yeah, that's everything from further instructions, which is not a continuation of instructions from Christian household. And then it goes to final greetings. Now, you see this whole blob of text, you're worrying like, oh dude, he's gonna keep going. Nope. I don't have to keep going because you know what this is? It's just saying. So back in the day, right? There were these, we didn't have like emails, we didn't have like cars or like good postal service, right? So if people wanted to know something, they had to tell the other person by mouth or by letter, right? And back in the day, sending letters was like it's not certain the other person's going to get it. So you would like tell the other person like, oh, like your family member over here says hi to you, because you want them to know that they're still there. Or like I said before, you have to actually travel over there, and if you both know the same person, then you tell them the news. That's how you got news. So that's what this part is. This part is actually just that.
Okay, read it.
You want me to read it?
Alright, do it.
Alright, verse 7. Titius will tell you all about the news. Will tell you all the news about me. He is a dear brother, a faithful minister, and fellow servant in the Lord. I am sending him to you for the express purpose that you may know about our circumstances and that he may encourage your hearts. He's coming with Onesimus, our faithful, and dear brother, who is one of you. They will tell you everything that is happening here. So, it's pretty much what it is.
So who are those two?
Who are those two? Titius is an Asian. Don't know why that's pretty important. I mean, that's not why that's important. But he's an Asian and he's what's it called? I don't think he's an apostle of Paul, but he was like one of the original 70. Like he's basically someone who will go on to become a bishop. Like he's doing work similar to what Paul is doing, and that's why he's calling him a fellow servant in the Lord.
Do you know how they met?
He doesn't say. He's only mentioned one other time in I think Ephesians, but they don't know if it's the same Titius. And verse 8, Titius is just going to be telling the church in Colossae, oh, this is what's happening to me. I'm like suffering this way, or they're treating me like this. Just like circumstantial stuff. Onesimus, I don't know more about, and my fellow prisoner. It's a fellow prisoner. Yeah. Oh yeah. Also, I just remembered when he says that to open the door for the message, and he says that he hopes people will be coming to him. There was an example of that where not like the people were coming to him, but they were the Roman guards. Like he was able to preach his message even in chains towards other people, like the Roman guards who were like, what's it called? Keeping him in house arrest. Yeah. And then talks about fellow prisoner who wants to say hi. Mark wants to say hi to Jesus. Also says hi. I don't know why he says in different sentences. And then he's like these are the only Jews for the who are working with him to spread the gospel or something like that. And so they come for him because, well, I don't think was Paul a Jew?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess because camaraderie, like staying with your not culture group, but just people who who are familiar with you, same Yeah. And then, yeah, it actually just keeps saying greetings. They say greetings. It says that he's wrestling in prayer, that he may stand firm in all the will of God, mature and fully assured. So he's just praying about them, and he's telling them that he is praying about them, so they can be reassured too. And more greetings, and then he's also giving instructions to other people, which doesn't say anything for us, but it's just saying, the dude over there, can you can you do this thing? And that's it. That's actually just it. This whole thing is just saying hello.
I can see it.
Okay. Yeah, I know. So I'm just saying, like, if you're expecting something out of this, there's no deeper message. Sometimes.
Okay.
Oh, you want to know what the application? It's well, it was here, but I don't have it here now. So it's What
Can
was
you
it?
take a picture of it?
Oh yeah, hold on. Oh wait, it's not here. Oops. I didn't do it. Oops. Well, no, I didn't do it. I had it in my mind, but I didn't write it down. I thought I wrote it down. So it's saying stuff like, what is it? Well, it's just teaching you how to do things. This is like teaching you how to act more Christian. Like that's what I was thinking, but then I wanted to like make it so it's not so vague. It's like, well, what does it mean, right? So these are just like new instructions on how to be Christian-like.
Okay, can you list what are new instructions?
The new instruction, well, not new, but like I guess I don't know if it's new because I didn't search this up, but it's like it says here, further instructions, like more instructions.
Okay.
So it's saying like remember to keep praying, and to pray like with intent, and what's it called? To act wise towards other towards people who are not Christians, like to act, what is it? To act nobly, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, or like gracefully, so that the others can see what a true Christian is, and they might want to know more. And then when they might want to know more, you talk with them about it, and hopefully you talk to them about like Christianity in a way that entices them to learn more about Christianity. And I guess it also talks about evangelizing, but like it's not just like evangelizing like you have to go out up to them, but it's like evangelizing through your actions, not your words.
Mm-hmm.